Hello, I'm Mayor Rick Bonnette from the Town of Halton Hills, and I'm pleased to be hosting a new program that will be airing once a month. And we'll be showing items of interest, different initiatives by the Town of Halton Hills, and we'll be starting right now and looking at what we did in 2019 and what we're going to be looking forward in 2020. I hope you, the residents of Halton Hills, will enjoy the programming and getting all the information that I feel you'll need to know. Hi, I'm here with our Chief Administrative Officer for the Town of Halton Hills, Brent Marshall. So I'd like to welcome Brent. And one of our first topics we're going to discuss today is the approval of the lake-based water and sewer allocation. Would you like to speak about this?
Yeah, so the town has, in the past, forever, been completely reliant on well and stream-based water supplies and wastewater treatment. And we've known for probably 2 decades that the province was increasingly concerned about the environment's capacity to continue to provide us with well water, and with our streams being the receiving waters for all of our wastewater treatment. Things were starting to create some limitations for us. So we are actually at a point where we can no longer rely on well and stream-based systems. We had to continue to work with our partners, Region of Halton primarily, to make sure that they understood that this community could not grow not only from a new growth or a greenfield perspective. We couldn't even intensify our community. So we were at a point where we only had 300 units left, meaning 300 essentially new homes that we could build in this community, and that would be gone in about a year based on past history. So well and stream-based gives us the opportunity to continue to plan for the future, add to our internal needs, make sure that we've got more than adequate fire protection capacity. So it's a really big issue and something that the region and the town has been looking forward to and planning for many, many years now. So a big change.
It sure is. And again, without this allocation, we wouldn't have fulfilled a provincial legislated places to grow plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And the province, it's a good point. I'm glad you raised that. Province is now just moving us through, or working with the Region of Halton and the 4 area municipalities, Burlington, Oakville, Milton, and of course Halton Hills, getting ready for the next provincial growth plan. So without this system that connects us now with Milton and Oakville and Burlington, a full regional wide system, we wouldn't be able to be part of this growth plan, and it's essential for us to be ready for the future.
And I'm glad you mentioned about the intensification that we wouldn't be able to fulfill. We wouldn't be able to fulfill fire protection as much as we'd like to. So it's all encompassing in making a complete municipality, a complete town.
Yeah, and you know, when we talk about growth, people generally think that we're only talking about residential growth, but of course a big part of what we're responsible for is non-residential growth, industrial, commercial opportunities, so that we improve on that rate balance that we have. That structure is very important. So for us to be able to provide adequate numbers of jobs and be able to look for increase revenue streams and opportunities that are not just based on what our existing residential community can contribute to. We've got to be able to provide those large quantities of water and then wastewater treatment at the other end.
So it was a huge decision for Halton Regional Council.
Big decision, and you know, it took into consideration a number of other things. How are we going to pay for the costs? Everybody's worried about growth paying for growth, so there were an awful lot of different pieces that went into this decision, and we still have a lot of work to do. Now we're at the implementation stage, but we are over that major hurdle of being able to get approval from the region, support from the other 3 area municipalities. So we're able to stay in the game and continue to plan for the long-term future of this community. in a very important fashion.
And now I'm going to change subjects. Another subject that's very important, that's top of mind, and that is climate change. And on May the 6th, Council supported a resolution to declare a climate change emergency. And of course, this will land in staff's hands to develop and implement different programs, etc. As we know, this is a very serious situation. If you don't believe it, just turn the TV on, and every day we just had 70 millimeters of rainfall in January. You can see Australia's burning up. It's a tinderbox. So it is real, and just like to get some thoughts from you of Council directed staff to come up with the programs, and I'd like to hear your comments.
So one thing, Mr. Mayor, that you know, we can all be proud of, and you've been the political leader in this community for a number of years now, is that sustainability, which is essentially another term for climate change. Climate change is the terminology that everybody is now familiar with worldwide. But this town's got a long history of being involved in climate change, but just under another headline or another lead, and meaning sustainability. So we've been at this now since 2007. And yep. You've been at it, and the Mayor's Green Plan, and all of the other things that have happened as a result of that. So we've got a long list of things, that accomplishments that we can actually point to, and it's put us in a really great place, in my opinion. So it's like a springboard now to do more, to do things that are going to be able to capitalize on some of these other initiatives that have been you know, promoted by now other communities in this province and across the country and worldwide. So I think we've been in a good place. We've been climate change leaders, sustainability leaders, and now what we've done, you know, going forward is we've made some organizational changes that I brought to council late in 2019, and I feel like we're really ready to go. And a long list of things we're going to do.
And I think it's fair to say that Halton Hills Council and staff, obviously, with the recommendations, we put our money where our mouth is. This year's budget, we put $1.3 million in this year's budget just for actions on climate change. And I think that's an important message. And speaking of important message, Councillor Fogel and myself, we're setting up a climate change task force along with your help and assistance, and with key members of staff who've been following this very much. And I'd just like to get any further comments on the task force and what you expect.
So we're really looking forward to this climate change task force to get underway. And what we want to focus on is accomplishments. We think that there's already been a tremendous amount of forethought going into this, that we understand what the strategy is. We've got a long list of objectives which I can point to beyond the creation of the task force. So staff are going to be working with the public on this issue, as will you and Councillor Fogel. We got a plan that's going to work around the health of trees on public lands. So for the first time ever, we're going to be creating a tree bylaw for this town, and that'll fit in with the expansion of the tree canopy. That's a program that is going to, and we've actually been gathering information, Mr. Mayor, as I think you will recall, over the past year on what our percentage of tree canopy actually looks like for this community. So we want to be able to establish those targets formally and be able to continue to move forward in terms of being able to replenish the quality of the air that is within our airshed. And so we've got also delivered the stormwater management strategy to council in the latter part of 2019, and it has an awful lot to do with weather patterns and how we deal with things like this most recent storm that we had just over the past weekend. We're going to update the green development standards, which we've also had in place for a number of years now. And what that does, as you know, is it says to the people that are going to build new buildings in this community and or any retrofits, here's how you can construct your new facility, whether it's an industrial facility, commercial facility, and primarily residential. Do it in a fashion that's going to help the community or the air quality in our community to improve. So it's all about climate change. So we got a significant number of things that we have in place. And the biggest single change is the relationship between the asset management component of climate change, which is all of our existing facilities, and we're continuing to upgrade and improve on the way they operate, and much more efficient, reduction in the use of fossil fuels. So a lot of stuff on our plate, but really ready to get things going.
And you use an old quote, pay me now or pay me later. If we don't do this now and start looking at retrofitting our HVACs and different programs, it's going to end up costing the municipality and the taxpayers big dollars down the road.
Yeah, that's the bottom line, you're right.
Just got one other quick subject, and that is, so it's very important, and that's economic development. So let's talk about economic development, and is there any updates you'd like to share?
So we've really strengthened our team in the last year or two. It was in the past kind of limited in terms of our staff resources, so we weren't able to get out there and kick the tires, as you and I will say from time to time, to make sure that we were opening the door to new opportunities. But we're actually ready to go back to council and finalize a staff series of recommendations around an FDI strategy, which is a foreign direct investment strategy. And we've had in the past developed relationships with some communities outside of our country. We're really going to focus on bringing new growth opportunities from other countries around the world.